Hey guys, it's Amy from Colorado Mountain Living, and can you tell on the hill way over there, we got a bunch of yellow popping up. Fall is in the air. It's actually only 50 degrees out right now. It's kind of chilly and we are under the gun. We have plans, but we don't know if we're going to be able to make it happen before winter gets here, because once fall hits, winter is right behind on its tails. So in this video, got to go over a few things we're trying to wrap up and get done before the big white stuff comes out of the sky, even though we got a preview already of it this week. We had some frost, light snow, and boy, is definitely snapping to our attention. So one thing I gotta do, I gotta take care of the bees. Brian's gonna work on sanding off the coffee table because he wanted to get that project done and do it outside before it gets too cold. And we have some updates on the shed situation and what we're gonna be able to do with that. All right, guys, stay tuned.
All right, today I'm trying out a new sander. It was sent to us from Jella's, and out of the box it looks pretty good. It's got a nice grip on it. It looks like it's variable speed as well, which is different than the sanders that I'm used to using. It's got a nice dust collector on it. Seems fairly secure. There's only one connection, whereas my Porter and cable has two, and it's very irritating actually. It does kind of rotate. The Porter and cable one does rotate in kind of like this, but then there's also a swedge on piece, and that is constantly coming off on me, so I don't even use it with the dust collector on it. I usually just kind of point it away so it's blown away with the wind, but I think this one definitely seems a little more secure. It does have a little O-ring here, which is pretty nice. So I'm really eager to try out the variable speed on it and see how that works. So the bottom of it looks pretty similar to most other orbital sanders. That's got the you know, the ports for the dust collection. They even sent a assortment of sandpaper, which was pretty nice. 18 sheets altogether. They ranged down to from 60 grit up all the way up to 320 grit. And so we're going to try it out on a table that I had made. It's got a lot of scratches on it. The dog at some point had gotten up on it and put some dog nails in it. So it's a nice table. It took me a while to build it, so I'd like to refinish it and make it look nice again. So all right, so let's see how it works. See the scratches here right over there. Some of the worst ones are down here. It took quite a while to get down to get the poly off. I probably went through 10 or 12 60 grits because it, you know, it just gums up the sandpaper and you got to move on. Anyway, I'm actually 240 grit. Now I'm going to do a 320, and that'll be the last one. All right, so let's see how the dust collector did. Yeah, it did a pretty good job. Quite a bit of dust in there. It's yeah, it's at least half full, maybe 3/4. So now the only what I don't see is that it's still a pretty small hole, so you have to shake it out pretty good, but it works out pretty good. Comes out. There you go. The other thing I really liked is this big old cover on the switch. My Porter and cable switch is very finicky, and you have to really jam it in there to get it to stay on. So half the time I start going, it turns off. So this one's much better. So overall, it did a good job. There's a finished product. Just sanded, very smooth. I'll put the poly on it. Probably not today, but
It is hard to believe that it was just a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the bees and how hot it was and harvesting honey. And when I put those frames out for the bees to clean up, well, I kind of created a little bit of a situation. The bees swarming all over the frames and everything. But what I wanted to do next was to render some of the beeswax. So check out my idea. All right, so there's one thing I've been wanting to do before the summer ends, and that's take my extra beeswax from the hives and put it in a solar wax melter to purify it. So I've gone through the hives a few times and I've pulled out quite a bit of beeswax, and the bees have been going through it, but it looks kind of nasty. So I want to filter it to get some pure beeswax to use, and I'm going to use a crock pot. It looks nasty, but the crock pot is actually an artist crock pot. I use it to heat up beeswax actually. So what I'm going to do to filter it, I'm going to put on some paper towel over the top, tape it into place, put the beeswax on there, put the lid on there, and put it in the sun. And I think that's going to spur the process for filtering the wax. I might have to do this in 2 different stages because I do have quite a bit of beeswax. So we'll see in the heat of the day how fast and quickly this renders. All right, there's all my wax. I was able to fit it all. And then there's my lid. So here's my experiment. I've never done this before in a crock pot, but I think it might work. Now we just got to sit it out in the sun and see what happens. I put this out on the deck about 2 hours ago, and it's really getting melty in there. So I'm hoping that it's going through the paper towel, and we're gonna have some wax at the bottom, a nice big wax cake. All right, so here's how we're doing on the wax melter. And we got a bee checking this out. So I left it out on another hot day, and I can see a little bit more melting, but it's mostly just kind of like the fibrous parts and the yucky parts left. Most of the wax melted. Look at all the wax underneath there. Pretty cool. There's a little bit more kind of bouncing out of this paper towel. While the beeswax was rendering, I had one more big job for the weekend, and that was going to my first craft show in 2 years. That was down in the Denver area. I had to leave early at 5:30 in the morning. Well, a few things. I found out that a mouse had chewed a hole in my tent, and Vigo was having a hard time letting me load up the car because he wanted to go for a ride. But early trip down there, but it turned out to be a beautiful weekend. It was hot though, in the 90-degree temperatures, but it was fun with all the crowds and selling jewelry. It's always fun making money. And then seeing the difference of the cold temperatures coming in. You can see here with the mist rising off the pond that the cold temperature, the cold weather is coming in place, saying the end of summer is here, folks. Gotta get ready. All right, down to the polyurethane step now.
yes, so look at that. It's starting to come out good. Probably smoother than I had it originally
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because it's 320
Really brings out that red color in the cedar.
Yeah.
No more Vigo prints.
I know, he had really scratched it up good.
Yeah.
I think he did it when he was little, like a baby.
Yeah, he would see the mailman and just jump on the table at the window.
Yeah.
So, well, I told folks that we were going to give them an update on the shed situation too. So,
okay.
in this video.
So, we're waiting on an engineer to call me back. So, we, our neighbor engineer needed to have the truss specs, but he really just wanted to have to know that they could withstand the snow loads and the wind loads. But we don't really need to pay for 2 engineers. I could just use the engineer who I didn't know this, but he's licensed in Colorado. So the gentleman we bought the plans from, his engineer is the one that can give us what we need. So
Okay.
So that should work out, hopefully.
So they'll sign off on the plans and then what? So and then we're getting.
Then I have to send that document to the county, and then we still need to have Mike do the setback verification form, and then we should be good to go.
Yeah.
So.
And in other good news this week, tractor.
Oh, tractor! Yeah, I just heard today. That's all ready.
The tractor's ready.
I'm gonna pick it up on Thursday.
All right.
So I reserved the trailer, so that'll be nice to get that back. Need to call and see about getting a smaller bucket for it for the backhoe. Make it easier to do the slab footings for the shed because they need to be 12 inches wide. So our bucket's wider than that, so I hate to dig out more than we need.
Yeah.
And I hate to dig it by hand.
Right.
More importantly. So.
Yeah. But we'll have another update this weekend about the shed, and want to do a driveway update too.
Right.
On the GeoCell 1 year later. So stay tuned for that. All right, heated up this crock pot. Now I'm going to pour out this beeswax. Probably the easiest way to do it is heat it up, pour it out, make a nice little block.